This is our presentation on the troubled teen industry by
Rachel Sampson,
Tom Seymour,
Jamie Hayes,
and Annika McEvoy.
Teens are denied numerous rights, and these are some of the most serious. The first right, protection against cruel and unusual punishment, is denied, and there are many forms of punishments that teens go through. Some include food and water deprivation, sleep deprivation, physical harm, and mental and verbal abuse, all within the walls of the institutions. The second right, protection against search and seizure, is denied because teens can be ripped from their homes or abducted because the parents think their child might not go willingly, which ties along to their third right, which is freedom of speech, and they don't have any say in any choices and are basically forced to do whatever the supervisors of the industry says. The fourth right, the right to bodily integrity, also ties into the first right. Because of the food and water deprivation, they are not nourishing their bodies properly and considered malnourished, as well as with physical harm that the supervisors cause. Lastly, the right to make decisions concerning education is denied because they are put into an inpatient industry, which leads to teens being pulled out of school and lack any education depending on what kind of industry they are put in. For example, wilderness camp, boot camp, fat camp, and plenty more. Some industries do not even provide education during that teen's time there.
The troubled teen industry is a thriving industry that preys upon people with emotional, behavioral, and substance abuse problems. Practically anyone can fit into the program, though, because of the list of problems they treat is extremely vast and vague. Some people are sent due to suicidal behaviors, while some are sent because their school grades do not meet their parents' expectations. There have been many claims of abuse, from boys and girls alike, between various ages, but these have not been investigated since these tough love centers are not regulated. These centers try to market to parents who have teens that aren't meeting their standards and can cost up to $2,000, which explains the multi-billion-dollar level of this industry. As mentioned in the previous slide, members of the troubled teen industry have their rights signed away from them. They could be living their lives normally, wake up the next day, and then be sent away to Utah in a van with strangers. That is very similar to the story of a 12-year-old girl named Anne and her story of being gooned. Gooning is slang for being taken and essentially legally kidnapped into the industry. As we have learned in class, language is created when there's a need for it. The existence of this industry vernacular shows the extent of the troubled teen industry. We also have listed 3 different locations of troubled teen centers, the first of which is the Provo Canyon School in Utah, the second being the Clearview Girls Academy in Montana, and the third is the Newport Institute in Connecticut.
One major concern is the lack of regulation and oversight in this industry. Many of the programs and facilities within the industry are not licensed or accredited, and there is little to no standardization of the methods used to treat troubled teens. While some may be successful in helping troubled teens overcome their challenges, others may be ineffective and even harmful. The lack of scientific evidence supporting many of these methods used in these programs have raised doubts about their effectiveness. There has also been numerous reports of abuse, neglect, and even deaths within some of these facilities. This has led to concerns about the safety and well-being of the teens who are placed in these programs. The troubled teen industry has come under scrutiny due to the concerns about regulation, safety, and effectiveness. Numerous participants reported direct discrimination for their gender and/or sexuality. Many participants recalled being scared to develop close friendships because of how staff might interpret it. Participants noted that the distress they felt before treatment was only worsened by the program. While in the program, participants mainly felt anxious, stressed, lonely, hopeless, and even trapped. Some participants struggled soon after their release, while others experienced a brief period of believing they were mentally healthy, followed by a crash. Many participants reported that they currently experience symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, such as nightmares, panic attacks, disassociation, memory issues, flashbacks, and even hypervigilance.
The troubled teen industry is a steadily growing enterprise. There are estimates that say there are 120,000 to 200,000 kids as a part of this horrific system that are sent against their will. There was a bill in Montana that was created and actually heavily agreed upon by the Senate. Regulating the troubled teen industry has been a topic of constant debate and effort throughout the years. To guarantee the security and well-being of teenagers participating in such programs, certain jurisdictions have adopted additional requirements. To grasp the present level of regulation in your area specifically, it would be beneficial to you to check into the legislative changes. The troubled teen industry has faced increased scrutiny from advocacy groups, former program participants, and concerned individuals, and it continues today. Investigations, documentaries, and personal testimonies have shed light on alleged abuse and mistreatment within the programs. As a result, there has been a growing awareness of the potential risks associated with these certain facilities. With the increased awareness of the troubled teen industry issues, there has been a growing emphasis on developing alternative approaches to help these troubled teens. These alternatives often focus on community-based interventions, family therapy, mental health support, and educational resources. It is worth exploring these alternative models that prioritize the well-being and long-term success of teenagers instead of what is primarily known as. And these are references. Thank you for watching.